So this is officially the first tryout of the actual first tryout from that podcast. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And
It is a tryout, or it might be the first episode of whatever is going to happen is going to happen.
and this one is really special because the first tryout of the tryout was on this Zoom call that was just audio. It was really robotic. You remember it was really robotic. I mean, in the end, that might come out. Or who knows? Let's see whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
One thing that we should also mention for this, we are right now in the streets of Prague.
We are in Prague.
We have a trouble. I mean, either a tryout or the first episode. What do I know? And we have a trouble.
And this is like, we actually thought about this, like having the podcast while traveling and walking, and
yes,
but we thought that was going to be playing further on in the future, and not actually the first tryout.
The first one, yeah.
And it all came to our minds on Istanbul. You remember?
The troll thing.
Yeah.
The troll thing came. That's true. We were in the cab.
In the cab in Istanbul, yeah.
Yeah.
But right now you got the microphones to actually record it.
I hope that. Let me. I need to check.
It's recording.
I'm just checking if it's still recording.
Checking in check.
I check because otherwise we're recording into the void. Let me just check.
Yeah, it's recording. It's going smoothly. But yeah, and it's interesting because we actually planned this travel blogs for the future, and it's actually happening. And it's interesting, like we're having this in Prague, like these deep conversations. It's a lot of topics to discuss, and well,
that is true. I mean,
yeah, we have a lot of topics to discuss. With which one we should start first, because there is plenty of subjects. Also, that
we have plenty of subjects. I mean, we talked about many things already in the past, which were either the trials are. I mean, we like the word trial. I think that's something that we should
mention. Also, just saying that and remembering that the actual objective of the podcast and conversations is like, while discussing the topics, having a neutral point of view, taking aside of course we're going to say our points of view of what we feel, but more like dissect each subject in a neutral perspective, and to actually make clear that it can be suitable to have different opinions without sorry for that.
Sorry for that. I was just checking that.
Yeah, without getting passionate.
Yeah,
because I don't know, but nowadays is like expressing opinions. It doesn't matter on which side you are. Everything goes more passionate, more intense, and intense is good. But the thing is, like, roasting someone or actually destroying someone for their points of view because they don't align with yours, that's radical. And ultimately in these days of time, it's becoming more often, don't you think?
I just wonder when did it start? Because what you said now with radical, and when you disagree with people, look at relationships, be that friendships, be that romantic relationships. During what I heard from many people during COVID, so starting in 2020, relationships fell apart because of different stances, because of different opinions on the topic of COVID, vaccines, and whatever. And then later, in these past 5 years or whatever, there are many, also politically, there are people, families, from what I understand in the US, families kind of fell apart or drifted apart because one is Republican, one is Democrat, one likes Trump, the other one despises Trump, MAGA and Kamala and knows what else. When did it start that things became so divisive? I don't know. Do you have the same feeling that things? Because my impression is that things became very divisive these days, and way more that people are way more. They go to extremes and they do not listen to the others than in the past. I'm not sure that this impression really is correct, but it is my impression that it didn't used to be such. People didn't have such strong opinions. They listened to the other. They tried to understand the other party more in the past. And in the past is not 5 years ago, but maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And I don't understand what changed.
Exactly. A lot of things changed, but especially you mentioned the year 2020, the pandemic. Like, I think it was like the snowball effect. Everything became it was gradually increasing, gradual increasing. I think it's not something new because I think that there were periods of time that we have this exact same situation, and I think that that leads to a change on how society will work. And I don't mean like in a political way, but like how people interact with each other, and it changes. So we really need to remark that how is that we are living in times that are really, I don't want to say transition, but times that are pivotal moments in human history. Like, this will be talked further on in the future. I don't know, 20, 30, 50 years from now. How this will be portrayed when teaching history on the future, if there's a chance for it. I mean, it's something to think about, but as for now, is with that subject is that people are polarizing way more than
Polarizing, yeah.
Yeah, they're polarizing. And
I don't understand why, because I remember. Sorry that I'm interjecting, because especially if you look at U.S. politics, I mean European politics. I mean, we're right now in the capital of the Czech Republic. We're in Prague. We're in the center of Europe, if you want. But if we look at the U.S. and this two-party system with the Democrats and the Republicans, you had that before as well. And I remember when there was after Bill Clinton, after the 2 terms of Bill Clinton with Al Gore. And it was Al Gore versus Bush Jr., wasn't it? And there was this, okay, did Gore win or not? But I don't remember that it was
that intense.
The argument. Yes, the arguments, the fights. It was so intense. It was so. People were so, what you said, passionate. Passionate, I think, is a good.
And more than passionate, I think that it's more like visceral.
It was not so personal. I don't
visceral.
have a feeling.
Visceral.
Yeah, visceral is also a good one. It was not so. Right now, you really have the feeling. For many people, it's like a personal battle. Okay, is it Trump or? I mean, these are political fields that. It's like the parties in the United States, for example. But I mean, the same also applies to Europe or to other regions in the world. So don't want just to focus on the US. It became an extension of your personality. And This is what I don't understand. Why did relationships, friendships fall apart because of a topic like a vaccine? I don't remember in the 90s that people argued, oh my God, I'm pro, I don't know, a tetanus vaccine. Oh no, I'm against the tetanus vaccine. And yeah, COVID was an extreme situation.
Mm-hmm.
But this, what did you call it? I forgot the word.
Visceral.
Visceral. This viciousness of it. This visceral. This.
Yeah.
I don't understand what changed in society. This is the part that I don't get. And be that COVID, be that the political aspect, because now with Biden, Trump, and then later Kamala Harris and Trump. People, Gore. Okay, to be fair, I was young, but I don't remember that it was such a. I don't know.
People with politics always get visceral, yes, but and this visceral thing has always been there, yes, but in my perspective is that
Has it always been there, in your opinion? I don't know.
it's always there, but right now it's more has a more broad approach in society. It's more cemented in more people than before, and we can say that certain situations lead to that. Like, not get into specifics, but
Yeah.
if a subject really moves a nerve on you, and that subject moves a nerve on someone else that you have a relationship with, and I mean a relationship like family relationship, friendship, emotional, you name it, and is not the same, is not on the same mindset, then that visceral thing starts to boil up. There's no room for a common ground to work on it. It's just like, let's move on. Like,
Yeah.
either you're with me or not. It's radical. It's radical.
This is exactly what you say. You're with me or you're not. This is exactly, I think, the point that I'm trying to make. In the past, I have the feeling people were more willing to. People were less radical. They were less obsessed with their idea, with their. They discussed things. And these days, I'm not saying it is impossible, but these days it seems. I think we should turn. Sorry,
right.
this has nothing to do with the topic right now.
So we should turn right now.
But there are many things in society, how society changed, or society is, where I don't understand the original reasoning for, or the motive of why things changed. And this is, I simply don't recall. It was this count. That's why I'm mentioning Trump. Not Trump. Sorry. That's why I'm mentioning Gore and
Bush.
Yes, there was the recount, and there was, but I don't remember these vicious attacks. I don't remember this.
If they were,
Okay, to be honest,
it didn't have the same broad approach as now, and you know, this not only applies to how society works, but on psychology level, on human interaction, you can notice that either you agree with someone's points of view, or you are outcast from that person or that group. And it's because they think you'll be too radical, and there will be fights. And it's like, we can share different opinions, we can have different approaches, but in the end, we're all human beings. If we cut ourselves, we all bleed red. Our blood is red. So
yes.
In the end, we're just experiencing what the actual human behavior is, basically. That in the end, there's always something that triggers this this, how to say it, this aggressive behavior that is inherited in human DNA.
But this is the point that I'm trying to make. I'm trying to make. I'm not trying to make a point. This is the question that I'm posing. This aggression that you mentioned. I had the feeling that it was toned down. I didn't have the feeling that it was that.
It was less before, that's for sure.
I don't recall that families fell apart, or friendships fell apart over topics like vaccines, over topics like. Okay, to be completely
with
fair.
politics, it can be because it was always there, but there was more. discretion to it.
To be completely fair, vaccines, we had it was an exceptional case now with the pandemic, because before, what I mentioned before about the tetanus vaccine, there was never this pressure. You need to get vaccinated. You need to get vaccinated. So maybe this was not the best example. I consider that. But politics, I don't remember. I don't know. I just don't remember that politics were as visceral. Hey, okay, I'm very much
Into that place.
changing the subject.
But yeah, I get you with that. And the thing is that those things were actually,
Yeah.
those things were actually. Okay, sorry for that short break, but we needed to buy some beverages, and yeah, we're talking about this thing that it was always on humans, yes, but right now something drifted that is hitting harder and harder. Like, you can see that.
It's getting more vicious. Is that what you mean
Yeah.
by harder and harder?
Yeah, vicious is visceral,
Okay.
visceral,
Visceral. Okay.
visceral. I mean, vicious might be, but I think the word here is visceral.
Visceral. Okay.
And the thing is, like, talking now about politics. For example, my stance on right now, the U.S. politics are really against the president,
Yeah.
Trump. But one thing's for sure, he was a necessary evil for things to change globally, either we like it or not. And in the end, it's just like, in my point of view, there's a script with politics. Either people are prone to it or not, like it or not. There's always like something established, but the execution tends to vary due to that same human behavior, the unpredictability. I think that it all leads down to this same thing that we were saying, that we are visceral. We're a visceral species. Don't you think?
Well, nature is
Raw. Nature is raw.
Nature is cruel.
Yeah.
I have the feeling we're drifting a bit, but again, I mean, whatever is going to happen is going to happen. So, and
no, I just wanted to address that because
no, I know.
I was seeing the human factor that, yeah, it drifts us from our main focus of the topic about this cutting off relationship because of different points of view, but this human factor really plays a huge role on it. And now with the subject,
I know, but I mean, I know what you mean by the human factor, but the thing that is simply, I don't know how to put it best. I don't know how to put it best.
is the easy way out to describe it. It's like a free person. No, that's human behavior. We should leave it off.
Why? I mean, many people would probably now go into, oh, it's social media. And I don't think we should and we can we can attribute everything, oh, it's social media and it's TikTok and it's Facebook and it's God knows what, and this is the evil. Social media, whatever they call social media, gave the human expression a certain boost. Because during there was 2000, Gore Bush was 2000, that was 2000, right?
Yeah, well, 99s, because it was when Bill Clinton was impeached.
Yeah. So at that point, there was the internet, if you want, but it didn't exist. Well, it didn't exist. The platforms that we have, first of all, there were not as many people.
The social connection that is available now
it was not as ubiquitous as it is now, because basically now everybody has it on their phones. Back then, you had a computer, and then basically the platforms were completely different. There was no people communicated via secure. It was very different. So to a certain extent, you can probably certain things you can address to social media, but I'm not sure that you can put all the blame. And also, it's when you say you put the blame on social media, it's not social media to be blamed. It's how people use it and how people communicate.
Yeah.
And people simply did not have the ability to communicate in on this level. I don't know if that makes sense what I'm saying.
Yeah, we're getting less civilized. It's the visceral thing. We are losing part of that civilization that is distinguished in human nature for this visceral approach. Not approach, reaction.
One thing that and this just right now, to be honest, crossed my mind, because I have the feeling that I recognize a lot of this, what you traditionally associate this, to the mob that is lynching someone, the mob that is showing up with torches and with pitchforks and burn the witch. Right now, what also comes to my mind is in the movie of the Simpsons movie
with Abe Simpson,
when they want to kick out the Simpsons out of the
grandpa said, I am with the mob.
You see this huge, exactly, and you see this huge light, source of light, and then basically it zooms in, and it's basically the entire town with torches and pitchforks, and this is what, if this really happened in these days, I don't know. I could easily imagine, but this is the modern association with when the mob is against something.
Yeah.
If this is right or if this is not right, burn the witch. And in my opinion, this is happening now on a much
bigger scale.
Wider scale online.
Yeah.
People still have this intrinsic. It is intrinsic to people, the behavior, this, oh my God, I'm outraged and let's burn the witch. Hashtag let's burn the witch. But now people, back then it was on a much smaller scale, it was in a village, or it was probably not even in an entire city, whatever city was back then. But in villages, this behavior might have been shown. My impression is now people do it online, and because of that, you have what you said. The scale is much larger, much broader.
Yeah, and also it's like it's easy, because back in the mobs, it's like people throw through the stone, and will not hide their hands. On the internet, you have anonymity. Well, at a certain extent, if we add other factors, but there's anonymity.
Yes. Plus people. There was, apart from the anonymity, maybe I'm careful now because this could serve as a great excuse. Okay, let's abolish anonymity, and this is exactly what is currently attempted to be done anyhow. That to get rid of anonymity, but this is a different subject, of course. A physical presence was still needed for a torch and the pitchfork. Now you can do it from your cell phone. I was gonna say, because I'm still using a computer, from your keyboard, but many people use smartphones. You can do it from the bathroom. Sorry for this vivid picture, but you can do it from the bathroom.
From any location you want.
From any location, you can basically have your pitchfork and your torch from anywhere you want, and you can speak out against whatever is currently deemed as unjust, and where the mob is basically being driven against.
Yeah.
And maybe I don't know. Maybe this is basically, we got the mob mentality, or the mob mindset, or the village mindset. We got this now on a almost global scale, or at least national scale.
Yeah, and it all starts with that. I think that viscerality comes out from fear. Fear.
Oh yeah.
It always comes from fear.
That came assuming what happened, assuming the stories about about the mob with torches and pitchforks, assuming that this was really true, what they're saying about the medieval ages. This was the same thing.
Yeah.
They instigated, they used fear. She's a witch. Let's burn her because she, God knows what. They always used fear. Like what they also use these days.
It's fear.
Fear.
And it's like
Beat it about war, beat it about conflicts, beat it about
everything. It's just like organizing something
we keep people in constant fear and anger.
to actually avoid them to see what is actually happening.
Yes.
I mean, what is happening, you cannot hide it that easily because it's you can see that you can see that socially on the news. You can see that, but in the end is that you feel so overwhelmed. You feel this anxiety, this fear that
you see socially on the you see it socially on the news. What?
So like conflicts, wars, economy, politics.
Yeah, but all of that is
you can address what is wrong, but these feelings bring up the worst in people. And
yes,
that's how it all starts. That's how it all starts. And to completely be honest, how do you think that this has to do with mass control? Because I think it might play a factor, but we are kind of entering the conspiranoid realm, but we should keep it a little bit off for now because that is a subject for its own time, because it's an endless pit.
It is an endless. I mean,
there's always a lot of information.
One episode, and again,
but like
just to ground this entire thing, when you're listening to this, this is the first. I mean, it's cold. It's cold. We are at the end of 2025. We're in Prague. It's cold. We have something like around 0 degrees, and we have our first
proper tryout. Yeah.
So it's an endless pit, and we don't want to go into
the specifics now because it's it requires its own regardless if we believe in it or not, is really needed to be addressed, but separately, because it is a non-stop subject. But the thing is, like, about mass control, do you think that this, what we were talking about, fear, this is kind of can be used as a tool to manipulate and move masses, and to keep like certain things on check?
But I think this didn't change. Again, with the internet, or with the
it changed with the internet, of course. It changed with the social framework of the internet.
And it became the scale, just like with the torches and pitchforks. My beautiful, colorful analogy became got onto a larger scale, or got a new platform. Also, the control, basically how you how you steer the masses, how you. I think this was always there. This was always. I mean, also with the witches and.
It just changed the way it was approached according to the time being.
I mean, okay, just to give another analogy, like in what you had before, when you listen to music, you had to go to the record store. You had to buy a record. You bought an album. There were not individual songs. You bought an album, and there were, I don't know, 5 to 10 songs on it, and that was the album, and that was it. And you had to go there. You had to go back. Now you can stream individual songs. So basically, the digital world that we experienced in the past, I don't know, especially since the smartphone,
2010s.
2010, something like that. I mean, there was the internet, of course, before, but it really took off uh, with the modern day smartphone, which allowed basically the masses to get access to the internet. I mean, allowed, you could do it before as well, but it became more convenient. Sorry, I'm sidetracking.
But it's part of it, because it's like when we were saying that
And this digitalization also allows, because it allows to manage things on a much broader scale, be that music, be that streaming, be that whatever. Basically, you can suddenly, like the industrial revolution, that allowed you to, when you suddenly had factories that allowed you to produce things on a massive scale. This massive scale um, was basically got further improved by the digitalization, and that also allowed for, Christ's sake, I think I'm digressing at this point, or I'm not sure that my thoughts are clear. It allowed it to widen the scale once you enter the digital age. Is it clear what I mean?
yeah.
Okay.
But the thing is, like, just in as a complementary thing to what you said, is that
Yeah.
basically that furious mob with torches and forts, it did not change.
Yeah.
It only it only gets actualizations through specific times that humanity is living. So
Yeah. What do you mean it didn't change?
it changes, only sheds its skin and changes form, but it's always there.
The basic concept. You mean the basic
The
concept?
basic concept
always
is-
stays there. It just updates
Yeah.
the methods.
Exactly.
Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Okay.
To the times where humanity are living.
Yeah, it adapts. It adapts to. I think what you said about humanity. I think the basic underlying behavior of humanity doesn't really change all that much. It just adjusts to the technology that is at that moment available and in place and is common.
Yeah.
So basically, nothing really changed, since we still have our torches and pitchforks, but now they are keyboards, or for the younger generation.
Public exposure from that anonymity.
Yeah.
It's it just
And the physical presence is an additional, because with the physical presence you need to go to the town hall. You had to look the witch in the face, and you basically have to burn the witch. Now you can yell burn whoever online, and you can create that sentiment.
yeah. It's another, instead of unaliving someone, you basically destroy the social framework
Yeah.
in which they are.
To be honest, and now this is a hypothesis now, and maybe because people are used to this level of directness, and this level, this bluntness, maybe that's why, because people now have the same bluntness. And again, I'm hypothesizing now, so I have no idea if this is remotely true, but because people got accustomed to, or got used to being relatively blunt. You know how people react very often on the internet.
Yeah.
Maybe this also kind of spills over into the personal life, and that's why people, to some extent at least, apply this also in a personal environment, and became a lot more. The disagreements started to become a lot more obvious, a lot more focused than before. People are not willing to, because they can do this online. They cannot agree. They can disagree online, and they cannot tell people online that they are morons. I don't know. This is just a theory. I'm not saying
but
that
it's
this is-
true, because it's like, even though you write something,
Yeah.
it can be misunderstood. There's always
That's true. That's
there
true.
is a
Yeah, yeah. Sure, sure.
misinterpretation of how you write things, even though you wrote it as something with a specific purpose that
Yeah,
aligns. People might actually take it the wrong way.
yeah.
That is also a factor there.
That's not what I meant, right?
I know,
Oh,
no.
okay, okay,
No, no,
okay,
no,
okay.
no, exactly.
You just addressed you approached it from the other perspective
Exactly.
online, that you can write something that can be misinterpreted.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
like,
Okay, got
not
it.
those scenarios where trolls, internet trolls,
Yeah,
do their work, or they try to create more unnecessary fire. No, like actually agreeing with something and being misunderstood because of that visceral emotion that comes out from the passion of the moment, from the heat of the moment.
okay.
And I don't want to say it's a passionate thing because I think it overrides the emotion of passion. Why? It goes beyond. When you're passionate about something, yes, it's intense, but nowadays it goes beyond. It is going beyond, and you can see it that it actually it actually it's coming out on more people. There's always a breaking point where it comes out.
Yeah,
Like, how's it going to be in the next 20 years? We don't know. In fact, that's something that we've been discussing before this tryout, that
yeah.
we cannot forecast the, not even next year, but the
Oh,
this
yeah, sure.
last weeks of the year. We cannot even forecast it.
No, I mean,
The unpredictability.
I remember a couple of years ago there was a meme. Somebody, I don't know, 2 years ago, something, or 3 years ago, about yeah, if they announce aliens now,
We wouldn't be
at this point,
surprised.
I will just, yeah, sure.
And
So because I mean, we had a pandemic that came basically from, yeah, one day to the other is maybe a bit extreme, but basically came within the span of a couple of weeks or maybe 2 months or something like that. We had conflicts that suddenly emerged. So if now we are now, yeah, end of 2025, it's November. If by mid December we have aliens, yeah, okay, whatever.
yeah, it wouldn't be out of surprise because
No, it wouldn't. No.
we wouldn't be surprised. Like how these times are playing on also mental health is a really is another subject that goes hand in hand with this topic, because talking about that we wouldn't care about aliens here
Yeah.
shows how immersed and changing the times that we are living are, that the unpredictabilities at its peak. And in the end, we go to the same route as the name of our podcast. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen, you know? But
yes.
it's interesting because about this forecast that we could make before, this year we discussed that prior to this tryout, that we can no longer predict, not even a year from now, but on how the year was going to end. And I find this interesting because before, it's not that we're being blinded or we have a veil or there's something that is stopping us from seeing it, but it's actually the how times are. There's no certainty of what is going to develop next. Everything's volatile.
Yeah.
Everything's volatile right now, and
That yeah, this volatility that you're referring to, that is exactly what I was trying to describe before. That I don't know. I mean, we had wars in the past. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. I mean, again, going back to the Bush election, um, and I mean, 9/11. I'm sorry that I'm so U.S. focused here.
But there's
It's
a
not
reason
just
for that
9/11. I
because
mean, we had
because right now,
yeah,
since
we had
the,
from
the,
one day to the other, we had
no,
this huge change,
and also it's like
and that was from
every
years ago. That is
country
true.
focuses on USA elections because those are the ones that determine the route on the globalist era that we're living now.
That is true. That is true.
That is the
that is
reason
true.
why
The U.S.
everything is like US centered. Either we
Yes,
like it or not.
yes, it is,
Because
especially Europe. But it's not just Europe.
it's everywhere. It's
Europe
everywhere.
is very U.S. centric, of course. Um, I mean, by Europe, I mean Western and Central Europe, and to some extent also Eastern Europe. Um, but also other parts of the world. Um, it is still at this point very U.S. centric. So, yeah, that was a good point. But why I'm bringing up the U.S. in this kind of thing is also we had on on September 10th everything was fine, and then on September 11th suddenly all hell broke loose. So we had these dramatic shifts also before. So it's not necessarily something new that things change, but these days everything is happening on a much accelerated
Rate.
rate. Yes, thanks.
There was this theory that time changed from 2019 till 2020. I mean, yes, the pandemic, but
Yeah,
it's been addressed on the internet on online platforms
yeah,
that from 2020 up until this late 2025,
yeah.
time accelerated its pace. It's pace, not space, pace.
The pace.
It's going faster than it was actually going.
Okay.
Might be a collective hysteria, might be not, but it is being addressed on those social online platforms. And
Well,
regardless if
okay.
it enters in a conspiranoic realm or not,
I mean,
I'm going to deviate a little bit to the mental health.
yeah,
Is that really mental health issues exploded also since the pandemic, and I I see this. I see a connection with this viscerality, with this fear. It's like
though there I would. Okay, no, go
no,
ahead. Sorry.
don't tell me.
There I wonder if they really exploded or if this was also not pushed to a certain extent.
Exactly.
A pushed. B, if it is not a generational thing. I think we talked about this already.
Yeah.
My impression is that, for example, going to a psychologist,
Yeah.
whatever you think about a psychiatrist, whatever you think about that, for the and I'm not talking about generations, I'm talking rather about ages. For everyone up to 40, especially 30, for everyone up to 30, to some extent also up to 40, I would say for them, it's like going for a dental cleaning.
Yeah.
It is, yeah, of course, I have a psychologist, I have a therapist, and I'm going there once a month, once a week, whatever, doesn't matter the interval. And for them, it's perfectly normal to go there and I have my problems and whatever. And I would say for everybody above 40, to some extent also above 30, what I said before, but especially above 40, it is more of a, okay, I need to be schizophrenic in order to go to a psychiatrist. So this talk about your issues, talk about your maybe where that generation 40 plus didn't take it took it too lightly, The others maybe now are basically on a rebound, and they are basically going to they think they need to see a psychologist for everything, and then basically everything is a mental issue. This is the generational thing, the B point that I mentioned, the second point. The first point that I meant, the point
How
is
much it
that
was pushed.
Yes, thank you. That it was also pushed, that maybe people, especially young people, were pushed towards, oh yeah, you have an issue, go see a psychiatrist, which maybe might have had good intentions at the beginning, but if you push it too hard, then you end up with that. So my question, I think, here is, and sorry, my thought was way too long. I would like you to continue in a second, but my thought is, do we currently really have more mental issues than we had before, or is there simply more focus on it, or was it maybe pushed that people, okay, you have something, oh my god, you have anxiety, that needs to be treated, you need to go on pills. Q-line pharmaceutical industry, without going into conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Sorry, and now
But yeah, it's like pushed. Not only like go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist or a therapist.
Yeah.
Push in the sense that not only that point of view, but we can also see the other side, that the actual situations were too much to handle when you recognize that you needed that help. And
yeah,
what you said, I see it as when the film The Joker came out in 2019, that film was for addressing the mental issues, and that not everybody has the privilege to get access to therapy. And that's true. But the thing is, like, people start romanticizing it. The problem is, when you romanticize a disease,
yes,
or something that,
or an issue,
or issues, mental health,
yeah,
what needs to be withheld, or what is sane, what is not sane, sorry,
yeah,
what is not sane. When you romanticize something that is not sane, things start going in a wreckage. It becomes a wreckage, and it actually has this. There's always two sides of the coin.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, always the side that doesn't bring out the best, but mostly the worst side of it, is the most visible one, the one that it's always seen. And we can see it in the news.
Yeah.
We rarely see in the news positive outcomes.
Yeah.
Positive outcomes. And so I do think that it was pushed. I did not see it that they were always saying that, oh, you should go to a therapist, but I was seeing it in a way that the external factors that play a role were too much to handle or to bear with. So that's the reason that a lot of people start going to therapy. And it might seem that we are deviating the subject, but this subject's about
whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. But this subjects go hand in hand with what we were saying about being visceral, that it all comes out from human emotions.
Okay.
And I don't know, it's my take on this. It is my take on this.
Okay. I think. I mean, we are now. I'm checking the time. I'm
close to an hour.
We're close to an hour, and I think there are a couple of things that I think that are still on my mind as far as that topic is concerned. But I think for this first episode, or for the first trial, or whatever you want to call this,
we should address those things in particular for the next capsule.
We should, for the next time capsule, yeah. So we will come to an end for this episode.
And see you in the next Whatever's Going to Happen is Going to Happen podcast.